people are upset because they can't get in.
We had a monsoon that happened during the show.
This is the first time I've ever been bumped so they could put towels on the floor.
Said that, yeah, now we're getting ready to plan a festival. And right away he perked up and he's like, hey, when you get more details, let me know. I'd be interested in being a sponsor. And I'm good. I love their tattoo shop. I love their tattoo artists. I love the owners. So I'm getting the logo for the festival. Not the whole logo. We're leaving part of it out, but I'm going to get it tattooed on my wrist later today. The reason we chose Loveland to do our comedy festival, at least for me, it's because this is where I live now. I moved here about a year ago, and anytime I move to a new market, I immediately try to figure out how can I bring comedy.
What would happen if a venue pulled out right now?
If a venue pulled out right now,
nervous anticipation. I just tried to eat some food and I couldn't get it down. So yeah, I'm gonna cut back on the drinking a little bit right now. Try to just relax but yeah, we're less than 2 hours away. So super, yeah, I'm excited, man. Just excited, but nervous. I can't stand still. I'm just like moving around a lot.
Okay, so before every set, I always write my jokes on my hand. But now today I'm doing on my arm because last week I did a show and I wrote them on my hand and I got so nervous I was sweating that I looked at it in the middle of the set and it was just a sweaty, drippy mess, so.
I'm a little worried because it looks like we might get a little bit of rain and the venue's a little tight and we can set up inside, but we'd rather set up outside just because we need room for merch and stuff. There's not a lot of room for merch inside. So right now I'm a little worried that we might get a little bit of rain and we might have to, go on the fly, figure something else out for check-in and merch and so on and so forth.
I got a little time. I'm up third, so I mean it is still some amount of minutes. That is correct, but I got a little bit of time.
My name is Russ. I'm not a comedian. I just love comedy. I know these two knuckleheads, and it's been an absolute honor. I'm gonna end up crying.
Yes, people all like a baby. Are you ready to have a good time? All right, without further ado, we're gonna bring up our MC tonight, one of our favorites in Northern Colorado. Put your hands together and make it loud for our good friend, Britt Boy!
The reason there aren't no comedy clubs involved in our comedy festival is because there are no comedy clubs in our town. The closest comedy club is in Fort Collins, which is about, from my house, it's a half-hour drive exactly. And so it's not really a Loveland comedy festival if you're doing some of the events in another town. It becomes more of a Northern Colorado comedy festival. And we wanted to keep everything walking distance. That's the other thing that we really concentrated on. All our venues for the shows, for the after parties, the extra activities, they're all downtown, and for the most part, they're all within about a 2-block radius. There's a couple that are right on the edge of downtown, but for the most part, everything's in a 2-block radius, so it's all easy to walk to and from all the shows that we're doing over the weekend. primarily, I think one of the main goals, at least for me, is to do the best festival that I can with the budget that we have, so that when comedians come and do the shows, and the audience comes to the show, and sponsors come to the show, at the end of the festival, everybody goes home and says, I can't wait for next year. The audience wants to come back next year. Comedians want to go, they're going to go tell all their comedy buddies and all their scenes about how great the festival was. Sponsors are going to want to be involved. They're going to talk to their business network about what a great event we put on. And then you can keep growing from there.
We just had our first sold out show right behind us in Black and Bruce. We do have it's a paper plate that is going around. If you want to tell some jokes, sign up. Ricky's got the plate over there.
We're at Loveland Ale Works in downtown Loveland. They are a brewery and tap room that's located in downtown. They're one of the venues that Jeff and I produce shows at. We have a monthly show here called Loading Dock Laughs, and what we do is we take their loading dock, they move all the stuff out of the way, and then we transform it into basically a comedy club, because we put in a spotlight, we have a stage, we have backdrops, we have the whole 9 yards, and it's like a whole nother thing. And so we do this on a monthly basis, and that's where we're at for the festival. Since they're one of our main venues throughout the year, they're hosting a couple of our shows, and so we're getting ready for day 2, the first show for day 2 here at Loveland Ale Works. Normally, when we do a show here, they have some outdoor chairs that we set up back here, but because now it's summertime, I think a lot of those chairs are on their patio and things like that. They went and rented chairs for us tonight. So usually it's just a few folding chairs and a few outdoor chairs, and it's just like, it's a real indie show, basically in a garage on the loading dock. But tonight for the festival, it looks pretty more professional because we have the folding chairs, and we got a really good show. AJ Finney is the headliner tonight. He's a fantastic comedian based out of Denver. He's been on Last Comic Standing. He's done some stuff with Comedy Central, and he's just an all-around really fun and chill dude. I actually met him 8 years ago. He did the very first Snow Jam Comedy Festival that I produced, and that's where I met him originally. And he's just a fantastic comic. And we have some other great comics from around the country. We have Jeff Nelson is a comic out of Denver as well. He's coming tonight. Trying to think of who else is on this show. I'm in scatterbrain right now because there's a lot of people.
Music, everybody. This was almost perfect!
This is seen as probable cause. Secondary bag check, person of interest.
You guys ready for a comedy show?
Doing what they really want to do, which is just printing off all your boarding passes right there at the gate, and then just chucking them down the check. You want your seat? Fight for it! What are you all doing? Is there another show now?
I think it's like an after party.
Oh, where's the after party at?
I think it's at, I think it's down back that way in West End.
So Laugh Out Loveland Comedy Festival is kind of a hybrid comedy festival. A lot of people, when you think about a comedy festival, you just assume that whoever's running that books all these comics and they're paying all the comics, and that's not always true. A lot of times there's a submission process. Comics have to pay a submission fee fill out some information, send a video link, and then there's a selection committee that goes through, watches those videos, decides based on, however their process is. Our particular process, our panel did a scoring system where they scored, up to 30 points, and it was based on, writing, originality, stage presence, overall humor, like all those things kind of factored into the selection process. But we're also a hybrid festival, and what that means is that part of our festival is curated, part of it came through the selection process. Usually there's, I don't know if there's a lot of hybrid comedy festivals, but I do know it'll either lean one way or another. It's either all curated, and that just means there's a booker or a booking team, and they're inviting people. It's an invite-only comedy festival. They're inviting the people to come. They're paying them whatever they agree upon. And then you also have comedy festivals where all the comics have to submit to try to get in, and they select a certain amount. In our case, we did kind of half and half. So we had our headliners, obviously, were curated, and then we curated all our MCs for all the shows that we're doing. And then we did a selection process to bring in 15 other comedians. And so it's a nice mashup of, comedians we wanted to make sure we had on the festival, and giving us the opportunity to bring comedians from other markets. Because I think that's important too. With a comedy festival, you have to think about your audience, and you want to have a good, diverse lineup, because you want everybody to come, and you want everybody that comes to have a good time, and you want there to be a comic that they're going to enjoy. You can't just cater to one audience. And so it's, doing a selection process like that is a good way to really build a diverse lineup of comedians in a diverse festival. That way there's a little bit of everything there. So there's ultimately something for everyone, for a lack of better words. So it's about 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. This is the third day of the festival. The first show today starts at 5, but right now I'm making a run downtown to one of the venues to hopefully see if I can drop off some equipment just to kind of get ahead of the game. That way we don't have to rush like while another show's going. I'm just going to kind of chill downtown for a little bit just to kind of get ready for everything that's going to be happening today, because we have 3 shows today. So today's going to be our busiest day of the festival. We've got 3 shows, and we kind of made a mistake of scheduling shows too tightly together. We thought because everything's downtown, everything's pretty much in a 2-block walking distance, it wouldn't take much to get from one show to another. But what we didn't take account for is people coming last minute and not being able to start the shows right on time. So some of our shows yesterday, we only had 2 shows, but they kind of ran a little bit late because of that, because we had people coming last minute. We also had people getting on our standby list, trying to get tickets. So we had to wait and see how many tickets seats we had available to see if we could sell at the door to those people that were trying to get in. And then that's what happened. We ended up having seats available and try to get them in, and because of that, the shows all started late. So I think next year we're going to stagger our shows a little. We're going to do about an hour, I think, between shows. This year we're doing 30, and it's just not going to work. And today we're really going to be putting that half hour to the test, because we got 3 shows back to back, 5, 7, and 9, and 3 different venues. So trying to get ahead of that game today so we can be ready. And all the shows are sold out. Same thing. I've already been getting messages all day, people trying to get tickets to these shows tonight. And I've had to tell them that we're, sold out, but we're going to be doing, standby. If seats come available, we'll release them. And so we're going to deal with the same thing we dealt with yesterday with people wanting to come to the shows, which is a great problem to have. This is our first year. We didn't know what the reception would be from people coming to shows. We've had really good response from the venues and sponsors and the businesses downtown that have been involved in the festival, but their involvement doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't equate to ticket sales. And, we were sold out. 6 of our 7 shows were sold out Thursday morning. And realistically, they were pretty much all sold out Wednesday night. There was only, 2 to 4 tickets for a handful of shows that sold on Sunday. So they were pretty much all sold out by Wednesday night. And a couple of the other producers have been dealing with it too. I know Russ, he said that he's been getting messages left and right from people that he knows asking if they can get tickets and how they can get in. And, it's like, well, tickets have been on sale for a month. And you could have went online and bought those tickets, but everybody wants to wait to the last minute. And that's unfortunate for them, but good for us because, we're sold out.
I think all 3 of us have unique skill sets that, we put to the table. Dan is extremely organized and just on top of a lot of the just like, the Facebook event pages and the verbatim as far as like just the verbiage for the comedians, rules of the show and things like that. So I think Dan's great. Yeah, we hit it off pretty instantly when we met. He moved to town looking to do comedy and people were like, we need to talk to Jeff. And so he reached out to me and we became fast friends.
To help smooth things out or make things go a little faster, I'm going to go check this one of our other venues out and take a look at, kind of get an idea how we're going to set it up. And maybe use this other PA there, but I haven't decided yet just because the room there, it's kind of an odd-shaped room, and it's kind of bigger, so I don't know if this PA will have enough juice. I mean, it's supposed to have enough juice, but we want to make sure that the quality of the sound equipment and the shows are good.
I like small venues, so you're going to pack it out, you know what I mean? It feels like a huge crowd, even if it's not as big. I think with me, more the venues are just places that I like to frequent and that I like to go to, and I trust the staff and the people that work there to, that they're going to be a part of the show. So I think finding venues that the staff is willing to be excited for the show and are willing to promote it.
It gets worse. It wasn't just driving the giant nut. I was also a mascot. Or as the PR team said, I got to walk in the shoes of an American icon, Mr. Peanut. Give it up for Ben Frank!
Glad to be here at Niagara Falls. It's really super fun. This is the first time I've ever been bumped so they could put towels on the floor. That's 100% never happened, and I'm pretty sure it's never going to happen again.
If you're a fan of comedy, go support your local comedy scene. And you might think you might not have a comedy scene because you live in a small town, but at some point comedy is going to come through your town because comedy comes to every town. It doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter where that town is, it doesn't, politics, none of that stuff matters for comedy. Comedy comes everywhere. When comedy comes to your town, go support comedy. You probably don't even know your town has a comedy festival, but it probably does. Go support that comedy festival. Support as much live comedy as you can wherever you live. And if you don't live in a place where there's a lot of comedy, don't be afraid to go travel to see comedy. It's worth it. Everybody needs a good laugh. So we're doing an afternoon of axe throwing, and we're gonna have some food and drinks and just kind of hang out and chill before the final show of the weekend. It's hard to say how many people are actually gonna show up right away because this goes from 1 to 4. I feel like some comics are probably recovering this morning. And I think they'll just come in waves throughout the afternoon, but we're gonna be hanging out at the Axe to Grind till 4. Just hanging out, having some drinks, throwing some hatchets. Maybe the other thing we're doing is we are setting up a PA if comics want to get on the mic and heckle people who are throwing axes. I mean, it might be dangerous for them, but they can go ahead and do that. So it's gonna be a good time.
So I've really enjoyed the weekend here. And Mead Krieger last night, that was an interesting show because it's probably the most intimate venue that we did for the festival. So it was tiny, but the audience was It was packed, the audience was on top of the performer, and we had a monsoon that happened during the show, and we had to kind of put some towels down to keep water out of the venue. So that kind of made for an interesting bonding experience between the comedians and the audience. We were just stuck in this tiny meadery trying to escape the rain, and I think that helped the vibes a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely try to do this again. I feel like, because I've done quite a few comedy festivals to this point, and I've done some good ones and I've done some really bad ones, and this is like on the really, really good end.
This was a festival that I was excited to apply for and that I was happy to be on. Yes, the shows are fantastic. Yes, the networking was good. But yeah, you leave feeling like people really care. You know, I think every comic has stories where they're like, whether on festivals or on shows or you're out of town, sometimes you're just grinded up and like treated like a piece of meat and you didn't hear. You know, like I got to hang out with all three of the producers and they were all so nice, like, and you were so nice, and every comic I got to talk to felt like I made a genuine friend that day. And I think that's why you go to these things, so you can not only just meet comics so you can get something out of it, but you meet comics so you can have people that you share this fucking stressful hobby with.
It's been amazing. Every comedian has really put it out there this weekend, and it's been an honor to watch their crafts, and we sure hope we're gonna see you guys again here next year.
Yeah, it's been a really awesome way to like actually visit some new businesses that we've lived in town for years and got to check them out, and I don't know, it's felt like a really awesome local event where we got to know the people around us a lot better, and I would love to see this happen over and over and over again.